The following is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. We are live streaming here on YouTube, so feel free to hop on and watch there, or you can, of course, listen on the Mixlr app. I suppose if you're listening to this, then you already figured out how to do that. So it is first Tuesday of the month, which means our guest is the esteemed Mayor of Lincoln, Tracy Welch. Mr. Welch, Mr. Mayor, thank you for being with us.
Thanks again for having me.
Sure thing. You were kind of zooming in here to the parking lot. You had some official duties to tend to before you came out this way, correct?
Yeah, I went to a ribbon cut for the Oasis. Today is their 40th anniversary in being in the community.
Yeah, so they was the original site, was that the building downtown, used to be the first, was it First National Bank?
It used to be a bank, yeah. It's the one that, actually it wasn't too long ago. It's been 11 years since that fire.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. So, and then they moved out to the, was it Maverick Steakhouse a while, and then it was Rusty's, I believe.
Yeah,
so,
a couple steakhouses, but yeah, that's where it's at. It's a perfect place for them. It's got a lot of room and space for them to do the activities that they need to do.
Right,
so.
And as you said, 40 years in the community, so certainly a valuable resource to seniors and really all of the community in a lot of different ways. So.
Yeah, Krista Miller and her staff, they do a really great job in their board of providing services for the community and activities for senior citizens. It's not just seniors, though. I mean, anybody can be a member of that organization, so they're always looking for volunteers. And if you got time, reach out. I'm sure they'd love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had her on here, Krista, one time and talked about memberships at the Oasis. I was thinking like hundreds and maybe thousands of dollars for an annual membership. And I don't remember the exact figure, but it was very, very reasonable, like $50 or I want to say or something.
I don't know the exact number either. I understand it's pretty low to be a member.
And then, of course, they do have some, like, I know they take trips to plays and out of town to shops and eateries and things where there's an additional fee. But, yeah, that annual membership sounds like you get a lot of bang for your buck there.
Yep.
So here's, hats off to the Oasis and hopefully another 40 years. So,
yep, agreed.
Speaking of things we would like to see around for at least another 40 years, we in the time since we met last, there was the big COGFA hearing in regard to Logan Correctional Center. And again, I am very removed from the process and don't really understand the intricacies. So there was the public hearing where the COGFA, members of COGFA came and collected community responses, and they actually questioned members of the corrections administration.
Yep.
And then I believe that was on a Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, because I missed softball. And then on that Friday, the next day was supposed to be the vote of the COGFA, but there wasn't a quorum present.
Correct. 3 out of 12 members of that committee showed up.
So what happens next then? I mean, if you don't have a quorum, you can't conduct business. So does that mean things are dead in the water? Is there still more work to be done? Do you have
Well,
any read on things?
that's what we're trying to get answers to. That Friday, that was the 50th day of the process, and by statute, they have 50 days to complete, you know, the meetings, the hearings, and you know the public hearings included, which they did. And so at this point, COGFA, which is really an advisory committee to the governor's office,
Right.
didn't make a recommendation because they didn't have a quorum. Now, when they had that meeting, they still shared their thoughts, the members that showed up.
The Friday meeting you're talking
The
about.
Friday meeting where they were supposed to take the vote, the three members that did show up, which happened to be the three members that have been heavily involved in it from the beginning, they did provide their thoughts and feedback on it. And you can go out to the COGFA website and hear the audio. It's about 26 minutes, I think, long, and it's worth listening to. But the question is, you know, the budget got passed by the state to take care of the cost of the rebuilds, and they have no recommendation. So can they move forward? Are they going to? Because that plan from IDOC, I mean, even before the COGFA process, they were talking about starting to move inmates out and demolition at Stateville as early as November.
Right.
So I don't know if they're going to. It's politics, right?
Exactly.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to move forward, but we're still trying to find the answers to that.
And so, obviously, that feedback process took place within that 50-day limit. Is there anything more the public can do to kind of help try and make some sort of an impact on the process?
I would say at this point, contact your local representatives, right? Not just in the city of Lincoln or the county. Sally Turner and Bill Howder, they're heavily involved in it. And I know that they're working behind the scenes to get the answers to these questions too. But, you know, call the governor's office, write the governor's office, flood the governor's office, and tell them why we need to keep that facility here. If you went to the public hearings, unfortunately, I got sick on the way home from vacation, so I couldn't attend. Well, I didn't feel it was appropriate to attend and get people sick. But the sentiment is across the board. The facilities need rebuilt. There's no question in anybody's mind they do. But the rationale that they're providing to move it up north seems to be more politically driven than anything. If you look at the facts, it just doesn't make sense to move it.
Right. And of course, folks who have been following this process should know all the basic arguments as far as cost of labor and ground being available in Lincoln and all those things. So we won't rehash those, but so I'm hoping maybe you tuned in via the live stream since you were home ill that evening.
We were a little behind on it, but we did watch the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any thoughts, responses, and anything that particularly hit you about that hearing since you weren't there in person to make a statement?
I thought that, well, first of all, the IDOC presentation they gave I've heard before. And some of the other stuff I had already heard in previous meetings. But I think those individuals that chose to speak did a remarkable job. Some of them were very blunt and to the point, which we need to be. We've played nice and we've been very cordial, but at this point, we just have to get really serious about it.
Right.
And so I think everybody that got up there did a great job. I don't want to dismiss the thoughts and concerns that were shared by other individuals that may have been incarcerated out there. I know that they had stuff to share, but on the flip side, there was also articles in the paper of people that are currently incarcerated out there that are in favor of keeping it right in here in Logan County as well. So it was a very interesting. What was it, about 3 hours? I think.
I believe so.
About 3 hours. Very interesting.
Yeah. And a lot of different viewpoints from a lot of different vantage points. For example, Rural Fire Chief Chris Booth spoke, and I hadn't even considered that. Folks move out of town, less tax value or less tax dollars, which means they're going to have to, cut services or reorganize or whatever it might be. And again, that's sort of that trickle down effect we've talked about, but don't really always think about it impacting, fire service or schools, for example, and the tax base, the tax funds they would receive. So it's for those that think it's just Logan and it just affects the employees, obviously has a much wider impact than that.
Well, and we haven't really talked about this a lot at the city because there's just so many facts to consider. But the city actually gets revenue from that facility as well through wastewater treatment. They're a large consumer of our wastewater treatment system. And so, you lose like $30,000 a month and things like that. That adds up. That's a huge impact to the city, the ability to operate, and that facility has to operate.
Right.
And it has a finite cost, and when you don't have enough money, then you have to turn to others to absorb the cost, and we've done that too much.
Right.
We don't want to do that again.
And that's understandable. So once again, our guest is Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions, comments about the COGVA hearing or anything related to the city of Lincoln. Mayor Welch is with us until 4:30, but right now we'll go ahead and take our first break, and we'll be back with more with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411 once again with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions or comments in regard to the first topic we talked about generally was the first topic we talked about was the Oasis, but then spent a little time on the Logan Correctional Center issues and things going on with there. And as we talked off air, there is something happening with Logan Correctional Center, not necessarily directly politically related, but something to kind of show the community that I guess the workers of Logan Correctional Center as well as Lincoln Correctional Center are out in the community, not just showing up, collecting a paycheck and so forth with a softball game they're going to be doing a little bit later in July, I believe it is.
Yeah, July 26th.
I think it's the 20th.
Yeah, 26th. It's a Friday from 5 to 9. Yeah. It's going to be out at the Lincoln Rec Center, and they're going to be on the softball diamonds. There's going to be union members from Lincoln, Logan, Stateville, and sounds like Taylorville as well.
I saw the post within the
So
last couple days.
really, it's an event that I was notified about several weeks ago. They tried to do it before the COGFA hearings, but it just couldn't happen. And it's an awareness event. It's to draw awareness to this fight to save Logan, and it's the people that are impacted heavily. Not all people, but I mean, it's the people that are out there on the front lines, working those facilities.
Yeah, and double elimination tournament starts at 5 p.m. So if there's 4 teams involved, then that would mean the championship will either be at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., depending on if it's the first loss for the first team and so forth. But then they're also giving back to the community as well. I saw they were organizing, there's going to be no admission fee, but there will be a food donation drive. So they'll be collecting food for local food pantry. I believe I read something about a 50-50 raffle with half the proceeds going to the winner, half the proceeds going to Lincoln Logan Food Pantry. So
I had not seen those.
Yeah.
So
those
that's great.
Yeah, so just recently posted those, and so again, a chance to support the employees and those most impacted by all the uncertainty regarding Logan Correctional Center, and also a chance to kind of support the community and give back to the community as well. So, now, did I hear right? You're going to be throwing out the ceremonial first pitch for that?
No, that won't happen. I actually said that the other day to someone. I saw a video, and I'm like, I could never throw that first pitch out. It would never make it to the catcher.
Well, in softball, it's only 50 feet away. So.
Well, if I throw it underhand, maybe.
All right. Well, we can give you a running start maybe or something. So, but let's move on. As I said, Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch is here with the City of Lincoln. So they're, in addition to Logan Correctional Center, there are all sorts of other things occurring. You've talked before about a new mural coming to the downtown area. What is the progress or the status of that these days?
The mural's complete. It is ready to be mounted. So now the city is working with the artist to get all the framing and stuff ready and the equipment that we're going to need to do it. It's going to be mounted on the side of the Rio Grande building, which is the location of our welcome park.
Right. So it's going to kind of face north toward Pekin Street. Is that right? Yeah.
That's the idea, is that as you come in on Route 66, those travelers that do, they'll see that big, beautiful mural there, and our nice new dome in the background of the courthouse. So we're trying to really enhance that corridor, and that's been enhanced also by the new retail business that's down there with the building with Mela Cream and Copper and Oak and that. So things are coming along really nicely out there.
And also, while we're in the downtown area, City Hall has gotten a sort of a makeover, I guess you could say, at least some structural makeover, I guess we could say.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work to that building in the past year. We put brand new windows in there, and we did a new elevator inside, and the latest project is a roof. So we want to make sure that building is around for decades to come. And so if you drive by and take a look at it, the neat thing about it is it's a metal roof. It's not just shingles, and the style that's up there is styled to the characteristics of the building and the historical significance of it. So,
very cool.
That's huge.
We had this discussion last time you were here about the for those history buffs that are concerned about the phone booth on the roof and whether it would have to be removed or not with the roofing being redone. You said that will still be in place. Correct?
It'll stay. It's not going anywhere.
So, so that will still be there, and why don't we go ahead and take break number 2 right now, since we're pretty darn close here, and then we'll move on to other topics. Once again, our guest is Tracy Welch, the mayor of Lincoln. 217-648-5510, the number to call if you have questions. Also, be sure to tune in to Viewpoint tomorrow. Dara Entwistle will have representatives from the it will be Larry Crawford, and I forgot the other young lady's name from Open Arms Christian Fellowship, and talking about some of the activities and some of their the work they're doing in the community. But as I said, right now we have Mayor Tracy Welch for another 10 minutes or so. So stay tuned, and we will be back with more right after this.
Brian Clark State Farm offers a range of insurance products to fit your unique needs and give you a peace of mind. Our dedicated team helps you find the perfect policy to safeguard your biggest investments. Brian Clark State Farm can steer you in the right direction on auto insurance, and we've got your home covered from natural disasters to unexpected accidents. Contact me, State Farm Agent Brian Clark, at 217-732-6211 or visit sfinsurelincoln.com. Go Railers!
Full Gospel Evangelistic Center makes an impact locally and beyond through a wide range of events, ministries, and outreaches. Pastors Steve and Debbie Owens invite you to worship Sunday mornings at 10:30 and attend Wednesday night Bible studies at 6:30. Connect with FGEC online, follow them on Facebook, download their app, and visit their new website at myfgec.org with live YouTube video streams as well as recordings of services and special events. Full Gospel Evangelistic Center, 304 North McLean Street in Lincoln. Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. And we are back on the 4 p.m. 411 here with Lincoln Mayor Tracy Welch. Once again, 217-648-5510, the number to call. If you have questions or comments, also you can email those questions or comments, 4 p.m. 411 at WLCNonline.com. We covered a few topics already with Mayor Welch and kind of have been talking about the downtown area in our last segment. Why don't we move out, let's see, I guess it would be west-south-ish? West-southwest maybe to 5th Street.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Not a new topic, but one apparently upon which there is movement now, and things are happening.
Yeah. Yeah, we're making a lot of progress on 5th Street. The design, the redesign has got pretty much locked down, and the council this week talked about bonds, the issuance of general obligation bonds for the funding of that. So things are moving in the right direction.
Okay, and if I handled the technology correctly, hopefully we have a caller here. So if you want to put on the lovely headset.
Yeah, Mayor, I just had a quick question.
Okay.
Just kind of checking on the 5th Street Road project. Has that kind of been tabled now, or is that still going?
No, we were actually just talking about that when you were calling in. Last night, great question. Last night, the council approved the issuance of the GO bonds. So we've got a lot of paperwork that we're getting wrapped up. But if everything goes the way that we hope it does, we'll have some shovels in the ground in the spring and have the money allocated and ready to go to pay for it. So it'll probably be about a 2.5 year project, we anticipate, because we're going to have to do it in phases, just with all of the people that live out there, the businesses that are out there. But, we're moving along.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling. So, once again, 217-648-5510, the number to call if you do have questions for Mayor Welch or comments about Logan Correctional Center, the COGFA process, whatever it may be. So you just kind of answered our next segment here. So
yeah,
hoping to get things going in the spring. You said, as far as the actual construction, or is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Constructing a road?
It's a capital improvement project.
Okay.
And I'll take these off.
All right.
So it's a capital improvement project. If you followed it, this has been a 25+ year project that's been in the mix, and there was a couple redesigns of it. It was supposed to be wider. Now it's not going to be with a third turn lane. There was a bike path. The bike path has been removed, although the land will still be there for the bike path if we decide to do it later. Mm-hmm. But there was that. It was some drainage, irrigation, and unfortunately, as long as this project has taken, it has drove the cost of the project up significantly. So you're looking at now a $6 million project to do that road, but it's so long overdue. The people out there have been, patient isn't even the word for it. Mm-hmm. I think more or less they've been tolerant
right.
of the slow progress, and so I'm happy to see it moving forward, and the council fully supports it.
Yeah, absolutely. So in past conversations, you've talked to me about how sort of the once you get to fall and winter and until things really start thawing in the spring, that sort of winter season is your administrative planning, paperwork, I guess you could say, kind of portion. Here we are in the heat of summer, literally, although not quite as hot lately. Are there any other sort of big projects or sort of a checklist of things that the city hopes to get done during this sort of summer season?
Well, we've talked a lot about roads, and Fifth Street is one of those projects, but Union Street, it's another one. We talked about this last night. If you remember, that was tore up quite a bit, all the way from the intersection at 8th Street up there in Union all the way out to the highway.
Right.
And we haven't done anything with that road for a couple of years, because when you tear things up in the ground, you got to let it settle. So we've had some sinkholes appear. There's actually another one out there right now they're working on. And but we're getting close to being able to at least do the Parkway version from like Woodlawn on out to Eaton. So that Tremont Street's on the books for next year. We're working through that. So yeah, we're trying to get ahead of the game with our road projects. In the past, we've been playing catch up.
Yeah, so sort of like the old, was it Meineke or Midas commercial, you can pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah.
If you do a little preventive maintenance now, hopefully that'll save some costs on down the line.
Yep.
Also in the past, there have been parks that have been updated, and I think you had told me before it was sort of one park per year, or at least they were sort of on a rotating basis. Is there anything happening with any of those at this time?
That was kind of the approach, but we've nailed quite a few parks. Okay. Ray White Park has new equipment. Melrose Park, the Allison Park is already, they have new equipment. That's a special needs park. We did the dog park as well, which was a project we've been trying to get done for several years. So a lot of new equipment in the parks.
All right, and I think we have another caller here. So, caller, can you hear us? How about now?
Oh, can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay. Hi, Tracy. It's Dara Entwistle. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Dara. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, last week on Viewpoint, I had on Scott McCoy from the Atlanta Tourism.
I watched it.
And I've been, for a couple of years now, following along on Facebook, the Route 66 groups. And, there's several out there on social media. And anyway, long story short, when you read those groups and what people are saying, and when they're talking about Illinois and where they've been, it seems like Lincoln's stagnant. And I'm not casting stones. I'm not. Hear me out. And, they talk about Atlanta and on down and vice versa all over throughout the state. And it just seems like, how can we, or does the city have a plan to capture these tourists coming and bringing them, to stay in Lincoln and spend dollars downtown throughout, other than, in which I've seen it happen several times, they drive up to the wagon, take a photo, and get back on the interstate. So is this something that the council can move forward, hopefully, or has been working on to try to capture these people and their dollars and, help, with spending money here, in the community at all, or not?
Yeah, so I did watch your show. I was very intrigued by it, and I know when you say I'm not casting stones, you're saying things that I've heard elsewhere, and they're the things that need to be said. Without a doubt, Scott McCoy is just wonderful at what he does. He was the mayor of Pontiac. He's responsible for a lot of the success and the model they have. He came down to Atlanta, and he's doing the same thing. And so Scott and I have talked periodically. Actually, I owe him a call back, and because I wrote him the day of your show, and we're just trying to connect up. But to answer your question, so the model that we have at the city is that the city contracts with the Logan County Tourism Bureau to do those tourism activities on behalf of the Lincoln and Logan County. And I have been paying attention to the things that you're calling out now for a while. I see it on Facebook quite often. especially with like the Giants Museum coming up and all of the success that Atlanta's had. And so I've started to have some conversations with some members of tourism. As you know or may not, we have a couple council members that are on the tourism board. So we always stay connected. I mean, we're the primary funders of that. We put in about $180,000 a year into that program. And so we're talking about these things and how we can start to look at things through a different lens. No doubt that they've done a good job in the past, but I think we're at a point now where we need to start looking at things through a different lens and from a different perspective, and asking ourselves the questions: how can we improve this program? Not can we, because we know we can. It's just how can we do it? And I know we're running short on time here, but Alderman Rick
that's okay. We can go over. It's Loyd's show. It's no big deal.
Oh, perfect then.
It's all good.
I need
it's all
the
good.
overtime anyway. So.
Well, there you go. We'll just talk about tourism then. Rick Hofel, he was on the council at the time, and it's been a year or so ago. He led a strategic planning activity for the Tourism Bureau, and they've got a lot of ideas, like, you know, they're doing bus tours down in Atlanta. Well, that was on that list of things to do. And so, to your point in not casting stones, my challenge to the Tourism Bureau in partnering with them would be, let's look at the strategic plan that got put together, and let's pair up with people like Scott McCoy, who clearly know what they're doing. And I'm not saying that the tourism board doesn't, but he has a track record of some success. Let's see if we can leverage some of his knowledge and expertise and get people to town, because you're right. You know, I was out there the other day and I saw a car and they pulled up and took pictures at the wagon and then they drove away. Well, there's businesses out there. Where they went after that, I don't know. I hope they stopped somewhere, put gas in their car, grabbed a sandwich on the way out of town. But you're right. Those are the things that we need to start getting serious and looking at.
Well, and then also, too, I mean, you've got the downtown businesses that are trying their best, you know, to bring shoppers, tourists downtown. And, you know, I think there needs to be more collaborative. And that's my personal thoughts. That's not the thoughts of the station, I'll say that. But, you know, I mean, look at how wonderful downtown was during Christmas and Thanksgiving. It was hustling and bustling. You know, and they're always trying to bring, I mean, we have wonderful businesses down here, but, you know, we got to pull them off the interstate and from the wagon, or even, I know this sounds crazy, you know, this is just my personal thoughts, bring the wagon downtown somewhere, you know, and hide it and let them try to find it, you know, or bring more things, more Abraham Lincoln things, you know, for them to hide and do, or not really hide, but they have to seek out, and then they have to drive by Gazzardo's or Sorrento's, you know, the guest house, and go, oh, there's more things to do, you know, downtown. There's other businesses, you know, it's like we have more to offer. I just think that it needs more collaboration, because like I said, you circle back, and if folks do not pay attention to social media and they're kind of like, yeah, right, whatever, I think they should. I think they need to kind of join some of those Route 66 groups, because there's a lot of people talking about Illinois. And where do we go? What do you want to do? And again, it's like, it's sad. Lincoln's not mentioned. It's like, oh, well, yeah, you can go past here. You know, it's like, don't worry about it. Just keep going.
I mean,
you know,
we're so fortunate. We really are, because, you know, in your show, Scott talked about the fact that Route 66 is actually a mile and a half from their downtown. Well, Route 66 goes right through our downtown.
Yeah.
And that's why we've tried to make that corridor into downtown more inviting with the mural and the welcome park. There's actually a Route 66 Centennial Commission that myself and the council put in place. It's got some business owners in it as well, and that.
But we need to do more. We really, really do.
Yep.
We've got to pull them down here.
We got to leverage that. We need to start coming at it from the approach of, yes, we have a lot of great attractions, the wagon, the mill, I mean, the slice of watermelon, the history of our town. But tourism, the idea of tourism and the whole mission is to get people to stop in, stay a while, spend some money, and help fund some of these other programs. And so, you know, I was glad you had Scott on, and I think we need to keep pushing this topic.
Well, thank you. And like I said, not, truly, no disrespect to the council. None. It's just, I wish the council, if they're not members of Route 66, those Facebook groups, and you're going to sit back and scratch your head and go, oh my gosh, what we're doing right now is not working. It needs to be fixed. You've got these big bus tours from Europe, Japan. They've got money. They have money to spend, and let's bring them downtown and throughout the whole community. But anyway, thank you, and my thoughts are mine, not of the stations. There's my disclaimer, so if Jim's listening.
Yeah, and I'll just follow up what you said real briefly, and not to knock the Logan County Tourism Bureau. There's people that have been on there for a long time. They've got a lot of historical knowledge. They do a great job of promoting not just the things in Lincoln, but some of the smaller activities and stuff that go on throughout the county that probably would go unnoticed.
They do.
If that was not the case. But also Scott brought up a great point. We are on the first leg of Route 66. You come into Chicago and they've got money to spend. So let's get them now. I mean, we had a couple, I don't know if you saw, I posted a photo a while back, but we had a couple guys that came over from England, and I had connected with this guy weeks in advance, and they brought us some stuff from Lincoln, England, and we exchanged tourist-related things, but they did. It was a friend from Texas, guy from England. They came over, they met up at Chicago, and they were doing Route 66.
They were actually at one of the park openings, as I recall, right?
Yeah, the Allison Park opening. Yeah, so... and we talked a lot about that stuff. They're the people that we are trying to get to stop in town and stay a while. Yep. So good topic.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too, Dara.
All right. And of course, Dara, as I mentioned earlier, will be back tomorrow morning with Larry Crawford and another representatives from Open Arms Christian Fellowship. And any final thoughts or? I'm going to check into getting you to throw out that first pitch. So maybe you should start warming
trying
up.
to embarrass me.
Just
don't film it.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right. We'll just live stream it, no film. So once again, thank you to Mayor Tracy Welch from Lincoln for being with us. Next week, we will have Sherilyn Bolton, who is directing the next offering from the Lincoln Community Theater. And then in 2 weeks, we will have a representative from the organization called Girls on the Run. It's a youth organization, sort of after-school activities type of an organization, community service, and they will talk to us about that. But for now, I'm Loyd Kirby. Thank you to Mayor Welch for joining us, and we will talk to you next time. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, and online at merealty.com. The preceding program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.